on those actions, looking at Europe right now, it doesn't seem necessarily that they're prepared to join the aggressive multinational sanctions package that the U.S. has talked about. So if Vladimir Putin were to invade Russia tomorrow, are you confident that the sanctions that you've threatened Moscow with and that you would want to see out of Europe are lined up, ready to go? And secondly, the Kremlin sort of picked one element of sanctions legislation that's up on the Hill, the prospect of sanctioning Vladimir Putin personally today, and objected to that. I'm wondering, is that among the sort of package that you've signaled to them is on the table for Ukraine to be invaded by Russia?
The main focus of the sanctions package that we've been working with Europe on have been significant financial sanctions with a start high, stay high mentality, not a graduated application of these sanctions, export controls that go at certain fundamental strategic industries in Russia, and other steps that we would take to ensure that Russia actually had to deal with the economic consequences of this invasion. In terms of your question about my level of confidence in our European allies and partners, I feel very good about the level of engagement and the level of convergence between the United States and Russia. A, on the fundamental proposition that there would have to be severe economic consequences, and B, on both the categories, types, and targets of sanctions that would have to flow. Does that mean that the U.S. and Europe are going to have precisely the same list down to every last detail? No. Does it mean that I will be able to stand before you and say the United States and Europe have moved in unison on the application of severe economic measures? I'm confident that I will be able to do that.
Can I ask a question about the cybersecurity meeting that you held today? I'm wondering, in terms of the Log4j vulnerability, how many federal, or if federal systems have been affected by that vulnerability, if it was because the government hadn't done the necessary patchwork to prevent it from happening, and if the firms that you spoke with today made any commitments in terms of financial assistance or other assistance to maintain kind of critical open source software, since this seems to be an issue that continues to bubble up.
So first, the president signed an executive order last year that goes to procurement of software by the United States government and fundamentally raises the game, and we're in the process of implementing that. And actually where things stand with respect to departments and agencies of the U.S. government today as compared to nearly 1 year ago today when the president took office, we are in a much more robust posture, and that's due to the work not just of the interagency, but of specific departments and agencies that have implemented that executive order. In terms of the session today, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the companies in terms of the commitments they made, but it was an incredibly constructive discussion about ways that the public sector and the private sector can work effectively together to ensure that public sector systems are more robust and resilient and private sector systems are more robust and resilient. I'll leave it at that. And we will try to develop, along with the participants in that meeting, an agreed readout so that we're not betraying any confidences. Yeah.
On Russia and Ukraine,